This is one of the two larger bedrooms in the house, and in common with the others, it has a built-in wardrobe over there in the corner, and it's got a light fitting just near the window and a two-way light switch behind the headboard to switch that light off from the comfort of your bed. And it did used to be heated by an open fire there, coal fire, but that was blocked up probably in the 1955 when the central heating was put in, and I'm currently planning to pop an electric wall heater on there so that we have something just for a bit of quick heat if the central heating hasn't come through yet. Now this is Jasper the cat. He's not a very good demonstration of how a cat would have been in the 1940s because he's far too well fed, unfortunately, but he's doing his best. I actually think this one might be from the late 40s or early 1950s. It's a Goblin Teasmade, and this wonderful device was created so that you could fill up the kettle with water at night and have the teapot sat there. That's the teapot on the left hand side, and come a preset time in the morning, the kettle would boil and fill up the teapot, and then the alarm would go off and the lights come on. And all of that is very, very alarming. I think it could be compared to a steam train drawing into the station. Not something that we use very often because it's a bit faffy to get all the milk and the tea and clean out the teapot the night before. This Bakelite hairdryer stands up in its case so that the user has both hands free to do their do, which is quite a useful innovation, and that just plugs into the light. Over here, another piece of bedroom equipment is the Pifco electric trouser presser, which you use to increase the sharpness of the creases on your trousers, which is very important, obviously. One of my favourite devices is also one of the very simplest, and that's this electric candle. And it was called that because it is clearly replacing the candle, which we all know and have used at some point in the past, and it's bringing it into the modern age by replacing the flame with electricity from a battery. And it has an automatic switch so that when you pick it up it goes on, and when you get to where you're going, maybe you're going to get a bucket of coal, you can press the switch up at the bottom and that leaves it switched on when you put it down so you can see what you're doing, and then once you get back into the house and you don't need it anymore, you can pull the switch out and it goes back to automatic mode. And it makes it a really useful little device. And this actually has luminous spots of paint, those 3 white spots down there glow in the dark so that you can find it on your bedside table. This is a glass cover, and this is made from some kind of silver metal, and as you can see, all very modern and Art Deco styled. And as well as looking good and being practical, it was actually a lot safer than a normal candle because it couldn't blow out and leave you in darkness. And of course you didn't need to find matches to light it in the first place. And also it couldn't set fire to your clothes or your home. So it really, really was, and still is, a useful thing to have around, because in the middle of the night if you need to get up, that's enough light to see by without disturbing anyone else that might still be asleep. This wee Goblin clock, you'll notice, has a sweeping seconds hand, and that's because it has a synchronous motor that relies on the 50 Hz frequency of the electrical supply, and that means that it can never gain or lose time because the power generating stations will adjust the frequency to make up for any loss that there has been throughout a working day. And this particular one, as you can see, it's got a mains cord there. It has an alarm function so that if you would like to be woken up, you can set the dial there and be brought round by a very loud buzzing indeed. In the 1930s, the GPO were putting out lots of adverts encouraging subscribers to take an extra extension in their home, and particularly in the bedroom, to avoid drafty and cold visits down to the hallway if the bell was ringing in the middle of the night. And of course, come the 1940s, you were lucky if you could get a telephone installed at all, and the shortage of lines from then on lasted up until the 70s or 80s, when many subscribers were put on shared service, where they had to press a button to identify themselves from the neighbour with whom they shared a line.